The Stage Door Show, celebrating the independent artist. With your host, Dave Hondel.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Stage Door Show tonight. This is Dave Hondel. Tonight, I'm super excited. I'm a new fan of this guy. He's been around for a while. He's shared the stage with some of the biggest acts you can ever, see on stage anywhere. He's a great Southern rock, country rock singer, songwriter with a new hit out. So I wanted to talk to him right now. We'll bring him in. So Will Wesley, welcome to the show, man.
Hey, man. Thanks for having me. And hello, everyone out there. It's good to be here.
All right, man. I appreciate that. And I know we'll get to your new song shortly, but as I was talking to you before we started recording, I was watching a lot of your music videos and listening to your music and just super impressed. I really got kind of a feeling like a Skinner type music, Southern rock, Southern country rock. And man, I became an instant fan listening to your music. So, talk about really quick how you got started in music and what, at what age and how did this kind of blossom for you?
Well, man, at a young age, my dad was a guitar player. So I pretty much had music throughout the house, my whole life. And he kind of had this philosophy that he wanted me to learn as many different styles as possible. So man, we would be listening to anything from jazz, Dave Brubeck, to B.B. King blues, to going into Leonard Skinner and the Allman Brothers, and then bouncing from there to Merle Haggard and Hank Williams, So I've always considered myself, though my home's in country music, I've always considered myself a student of music. And I've been doing it probably since I've been about 10 years old, man. My dad got me a guitar and I made some god-awful noises on it. So I figured out I got to learn how to play this thing.
and the guitar is not easy to learn. I had a guitar for years. I still didn't learn how to play it. But so I have a lot of respect for people who can play, not only play, but sing at the same time. And, and one thing I liked about your music videos that I got to give you kudos. I love the little pre-stories that you have in your videos because it really kind of sets the tone for the whole video itself. But then once the music starts, it just hooks you in. And like I said, I love that Southern rock, Southern country rock. And I see you actually played or opened for Alabama, I want to say. One of the bands that you played for. And I'm an all-time fan of Alabama. So when I saw that, I knew I was going to be a fan of yours.
Well, man, I do appreciate you supporting me like that. And Alabama I'm a big fan as well. I grew up listening to those guys, and to open for them, we had a show we opened for them in Natchez, Mississippi, of all places.
Wow, cool. And
the funniest thing, man, is on that day it was blistering hot, and I decided to wear a red blazer. And on top of that, man, the sound crew. This is just some funny inside story, man. The sound crew forgot my placement on the stage, so they took my only fan away. So I'm opening up for my heroes, man, and I look like I'm playing in the bowels of hell, man. It really should have been a music video.
That's one of those stories, man. When I saw that, I saw the list. You've played live so many times. You've had you've been all around the country and festivals, and what's your favorite venue to date right now? What's the favorite stage that you've ever been on?
I've got to be honest, man. I have several, but one that comes to mind immediately is actually a more recent show, man. We had about 7 sold out shows in Europe, man.
Wow.
We were playing in Switzerland, and when they told me, hey, they want you to come here and play your music and all that, I was like, do they listen to country music?
They sure do.
I was like, I know that they have great chocolate out here in Watches, but I didn't know they were big into, music. But it was a first class education, man, because when I went down there, I have never met such great and receptive people. Just you start playing, and at first you're thinking, I don't know if they like me or not. You can hear a pin drop in this place.
Yeah.
And the song ends, and it just erupts into just a roar, and you take a step back and have to wait for them to quit clapping, and you're like, wow, this is magical.
Will, I've talked to a lot of singers, people that have, been in Europe, and every single singer I've ever talked to, no matter what level they're at, their favorite memory was playing in Europe, was playing overseas. And the reason why what I've heard from a lot of people, and you can tell me if I'm wrong, but they're kind of students of music. They listen to the music, but not only that, but they read the liner notes and the CDs. They really understand music, and they're critics of music. And if they love you, they love you. And it doesn't matter how old you are. I mean, if you were famous when you were a teenager, you're going to be famous there until you're 70, 80 years old and you're still playing. That's what I'm hearing, is that they're students of music, and they have like one chart over there. They're not compartmentalized into country, rock, jazz, whatever. There's one chart. You could be a country singer, be at the number one, and then like heavy metal might be number two. So what are your thoughts about playing in Europe?
Well, man, to be real with you, Dave, you really hit the nail on the head. A funny story about that is my first number one actually came from Milan, Italy, with my song Attitude. And what I didn't know, very similar to what you just said, they don't just know the lyrics and the song you're doing, they know the music.
Yeah.
And I'm in the middle of this song, and it has a signature lick in it. Kind of a hybrid picking style that I come up with. And I pop a string right in the beginning of the song. It's like pop.
Right. Yeah.
So I'm having to on the fly improvise and do it in different parts on the guitar neck. And I thought, this is covered just fine. And the crowd goes nuts about it. Well, I'm getting off the stage after the end of the show, and I'm meeting with the people and meeting with different, people who are interviewing and things like that. And one guy comes up to me and goes, "It was a masterful show, but have you forgotten the guitar lick to Attitude?" And this man, he knew my lick, man. And I was like, well,
wow.
To be honest with you, Hoss, I wrote the lick, so I haven't forgotten it, but I did pop the string. He goes, "Oh, that's what it is. Well, I'll be there tomorrow, and I'm going to make sure you do it right." And he was there. He was there.
Hey, it's Dave from The Stage Door Show. Have you ever wanted a digital business card that would speak for you? Well, let me introduce you to TalkingVCard. Imagine this, a business card that doesn't just sit in somebody's wallet, but actively introduces you, shares your latest work, or even a special message. That's what TalkingVCard is all about. It's modern, environmentally friendly, and has been an absolute game changer for networking in this digital age. Now here's the most exciting part. For a limited time, you can get lifetime ownership of your very own TalkingVCard for only $99. Plus, to ensure you're maximizing its potential, they're offering a free consultation to help supercharge your brand. As many of you know, TalkingVCard is a proud VIP sponsor of our show, and I've been using it personally. The feedback has been absolutely amazing. For everyone tuned in right now, if you're looking to make a lasting impression and elevate your brand, I genuinely recommend giving TalkingVCard a try. There's a unique link on our show notes that'll take you straight there. And remember, maybe the next voice somebody hears from a digital card will be yours. Stay creative and stay connected. TalkingVCard.
That's incredible. I love hearing stories like that. Yeah, kudos to you on that, man, for going over there, first of all, and playing, because I tell a lot of times I tell singers, go to Europe and go overseas just for a tour, and you'll find that you're gonna have a whole new broader audience over there. So it's good, I think, to broaden your horizons and at least do it once, right? I mean, just to get the taste of it.
Yeah, it is. And, like you said, it's not really a comparison of the audiences, because
Right.
American audiences are amazing.
Right.
And I love their Rockin' party and how we bring the energy. It's a different mindset over there. And that's what takes you back. Like the pressure almost can make you fold.
Right.
Like you're playing your heart out, and you're looking out here, and these people are looking right at you.
And they know every word. They know every word, every chord.
Yeah, but like you said, I would encourage any up and comer man to go to Europe if you get that opportunity. Meet the people there, and it might even make you a better entertainer back here in
Right.
America, to bring that to people. So yeah, I would definitely encourage anybody who gets the opportunity, go over there, man, go perform, put your music out there in the great big world, man. It's going to come back to you eventually.
100%. Yeah, for sure. Rocking around the Christmas tree. This is another thing that I tell singers, do a Christmas tune or do a bunch of them, because this is timeless. This can be played on the radio every single year, and it kind of keeps your career going, and like, music is forever, as it's always timeless. Any music is timeless, but to do a Christmas tune like this, it's, I love listening to Christmas music. My wife and I have it on all the time. But talk about this song, because it's amazing. My wife and I listened to it tonight. We love it, and talk about how this came about and how you started, or why you recorded it.
Well, like you said, man, Brenda Lee's "Rockin' Around the Christmas Tree" is a timeless classic. I mean, it's a time capsule. And when my manager came to me and said, "Will, I get that you're an outlaw country. I get that you've had a bit of a rough and rowdy past, but what would you think about recording a Christmas song?" I said, "Well, I think your job may be in question." But I'm joking. But
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and man, one of the reasons why I chose this song is because as a kid, man, I remember my family listening to it, and I remember it being just an innocent time in my life. And there is a side of me that wanted to go back to that, man. The world can get complicated sometimes. And I
Yeah.
kind of wanted to go back to the innocence of it all, man. And that was one of the songs that really embodied that for me. And it's a song by Brenda Lee that everyone knows. And what I wanted to do was, in no way, shape, or form did I want to try to do the song to try to outdo or compare myself to Brenda Lee. There is no comparison. Her song is the best.
And
But
it just went to number one after 65 years.
it just hit. Hey, look, man, if I go to number one 65 years from now, I think I've had a successful career. I'm coming back on your show.
That's amazing.
But
And
man,
your cover of it could go to number one itself. So we'll see what happens. That's good.
well, we can always shoot for the stars, man. And I am happy for Brenda on that. And I chose to do the song mainly because I also wanted to take a classic and put a Will Wesley spin on it. I kind of have my own style and my signature, and I wanted to put a modernized version to a classic. So those were the real two reasons why I decided to do the song.
Yeah, that's awesome. Like I said, good job on that. We love the song, and keep up the good work. And who knows, maybe a Christmas tour down the road, right?
Man, I might have to trade in my Stetson hat for a for a Santa hat, man.
There you go. One thing on a serious note, I wanted to ask you, as an entertainer who's been on a lot of stages, and something's a lot of things coming up, recently, with people throwing things at entertainers on stages, phones and water bottles and all that kind of stuff. I mean, is this something that you talk about with your band before you go on stage now? I mean, is that something you think about, or is that just, you think, just one-offs here and there? But it seems to be happening a lot.
It does happen a lot. I've been lucky. I haven't had too many people hit me with a water bottle yet. But I would say, on a broader spectrum of that, I'd have told my band that if things go south, man, you just keep doing what you do. You keep playing what you play, because it can happen to anybody. The best of artists can be run into that situation. So my philosophy with the band and what I prepare for is just, we're going to go out there and do our show, be who we are, and just remain true to ourselves. And I think in the long run, that's going to win the audiences over. If you're honest with yourself, you're honest with them. And that's always worked for us, and I think it probably would work for a lot of other artists as well.
Yeah, that's true. Now, you're from Baton Rouge, correct? Baton Rouge, Louisiana?
I am.
All right.
The Bayou, man.
The Bayou, yeah.
To get here.
Hey, listen, the music down there is second to none. We've had a lot of artists on that are from that area, and just there's a lot of it's not just the country southern rock. I mean, and I know that you get into the blues a lot, you get into other genres of music that are from that area, because it's really a melting pot of all kinds of different music from Baton Rouge, from what I understand. So is that, when you were growing up and getting into music, I mean, was that something that you had a broad kind of I guess upbringing in music, where you kind of played, I know you said your dad had different kind of music on, but did you play the blues at all, and that type of thing? Is that how you got interested in it?
It is. I started out as a guitar player, man. So I was really backing a lot of blues acts in the area, and even got my start touring, internationally with a Grammy award-winning artist. I was his music director named Grady Champion. He's a pretty respected blues fellow. And I got my start going to Europe actually with him. So yeah, actually playing behind Grady and coming up in the blues kind of is what gave me my own style in country music and in, rock and southern rock. I've
Yeah.
always kind of infused blues elements into that. It's always going to be a part of my sound no matter what kind of music I do.
Yeah. No, it's amazing. Great part of the country. I said a great music city. And then the other thing I want to ask you, and this is some advice for our listeners who are a lot of indie artists, and what's the biggest advice that you have somebody that's getting interested and maybe wants to be a performer like yourself and maybe hasn't stepped on a stage yet, but what kind of advice can you give somebody that's interested in being in the business?
My advice to any up and coming artist who really wants to do this is two things. If you really want to do it, never let someone's opinion about you deter you from who you are and where you're going. Because as well as I do, Dave, you can have a million people say you're the best. You can have a million people say you're the worst. But at the end of the day, being yourself and being true to yourself, that's what the people want to see, man. They don't really want to see your social media numbers or all these things as much as they want to relate to you.
They
They
can
want
go
to
through the bullshit, right?
Yeah, they want to cut the bullshit, man. They
Yeah.
want to know who you are and what you're doing. So my advice to anybody out there would be, man, man or woman, just do what you do and be who you are, and just don't give up on it, because you're gonna run into some hard times if you want to be a musician. It's gonna be a rough road at times. But if you love what you do and you believe in what you do, man, just stick to the path, because it's gonna eventually something's gonna open up for you, even though you may not see it and you don't see it in sight. Keep
Yeah.
going forward. You'll get through it.
Yeah, just keep grinding. That's good advice for sure. And be yourself. I think that's the best advice, because a lot of people try to mimic maybe somebody they like. It's already up, famous or whatever, and
That's right.
it never works out because you're not them. You're you, and if you're not yourself, you're not going to attract people who like you. You're going to attract
That's right.
people who like them.
That's right. Because we already have one of them. We need one of you.
Exactly, 100%. Well, before we go, well, I want to ask you, first of all, I ask everybody this, but what do you want your legacy to be? What do you want people to walk away with when they hear your name?
Man, when I first got into music, my answer would be entirely different than what I'm about to give you now. At first, it was all about the party and the rockin', and then I want to be big. I want to be the biggest name around. But life has a way of changing you, and the legacy that I want to leave behind as a musician is I want my songs to make a difference in people's lives. I want my songs to, if someone's down and out, if someone has lost faith in themselves, if someone feels like they're going down in life, I want them to be able to listen to a Will Wesley song, and that pulls them back from the edge. If I've accomplished that with anyone, then I've left my legacy, even though it may not be on the front page of the news. But that's my goal as a musician, and that's my ambition these days, is to use music to make the world a better place. That's my legacy.
Well, that's awesome. That's a great legacy, and that's really well said. So thank you for that. Before we go, how can people find you on? You have a website, and talk about your social media. How can people reach out to you?
Man, I'm everywhere these days. You can find me at willwesleymusic.com. All of my singles are on any of your favorite digital outlets, man. You can go to Amazon, Apple, Spotify. I'm there, man. Wherever you go. Also, you can go to YouTube and you can check out my music videos, man. We got some pretty interesting videos out there. And actually, you can even get the new single "Rockin' Around the Christmas Tree" on YouTube, all your favorite digital outlets, man. Just type in Will Wesley or willwesleymusic.com, and I promise you can't avoid me.
Well, Will, it's been a pleasure. Again, a new fan here, and just the best of luck to you and everything you do, and best of luck on your new song, "Rockin' Around the Christmas Tree." I know it's going to do well, and can't wait to have you back someday.
Well, man, I would love to come back and talk with you again, and I would like to wish you and your wife a happy and Merry Christmas. And
You as
everyone
well.
out there a Merry Christmas, man. Many times. Let's have a good Christmas this year, everybody.
Absolutely. We need to bring in 2024 in a big way. So, Will Wesley, everyone, thank you so much for joining iHeartRadio tonight.
Thank you so much, man.